Hey guys, I'm Melchi and welcome back to my channel. This video is a compilation of the lessons we have learned in the last 5 weeks from Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. What makes communication so important? Communication gives us the chance to interact with people, improve relationships, and connect. Communication is the biggest key to unlocking a relationship. As a recap, the topics we discussed were fall in love with reading, journaling, I hear you, always know what to say, and silent language. When we read, we can comprehend various perspectives and have an opportunity to gain more knowledge in various subjects. As Ralph Waldo Emerson stated, when we meet a man with rare intellect, we should ask him what books he reads. When we write, we can put down our thoughts and emotions on paper while our ideas and memories get preserved. When we listen to a person speak, we make them feel valued and we have an opportunity to learn from them. When we speak, we can share our opinions and experiences. A good conversation involves equal amounts of speaking and listening. Finally, silent language. When we speak the silent language, not only do we share our thoughts, but we also share our emotions and feelings. Hope you enjoy watching this compilation of Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. Be a connector, not a mere communicator. Everyone Communicates, Few Connect is a title I derived from a book. Although what we will be discussing in the next 5 weeks is not from this book, the title is appropriate because when we communicate, we connect. Bill Gates said, "Every book teaches me something new or helps me see things differently." I was watching this show on Netflix called Inside Bill's Brain. In it, I noticed that he always carried a book bag around with him wherever he went. Isn't it a great way to learn on the go? It's fascinating how most of us might carry games or snacks when he decided to carry books. Forbes conducted an interview with Bill's dad. They asked him, what kind of a child was Bill? He said, just about every kind of book interested him. Encyclopedias, science fiction, you name it. I was thrilled that my son was such an avid reader, but he read so much that Bill's mother and I had to institute a rule: no books at the dinner table. Reading is a great way to expand our knowledge. Sometimes we read a book but forget what we read the next day or sometimes even the next hour. What can we do to make the best out of our reading time? Bill Gates gives us 3 tips we can follow. The first one is taking notes in the margin. This allows us to put down our thinking on paper. The second tip is starting only something we can finish. This ensures that we understand the author's perspective completely and don't waste time reading the first half. And finally, blocking out an hour. This allows us to get into the core of our concentration. Abraham Lincoln said, "I feel a need for reading. It's a loss for a man not to have grown up among books." If you think about it, most successful people like Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, and Bill Gates spend most of their time reading. Buffett estimates that he spends about 80% of his time in an average day reading. Wow! Sometimes we don't read a book because we just don't like to read in general. That's when we should remember something J.K. Rowling said. If you don't like to read, you haven't found the right book yet. Find a book today and cultivate the habit of reading. Louise L'Amour stated, "Start writing no matter what. The water won't flow until the faucet is turned on." Sometimes when we write, the reader may not understand what we're trying to say. In order for our writing to be clear, we can follow goal, details, outline, and edit. These 4 steps will allow us to make our writing concise and understandable. Having a goal enables us to remind ourselves on what we are writing and why we are writing it. Including only relevant details, make sure the reader understands exactly what we are trying to say. Starting to talk about a water bottle and ending with headphones probably won't help the reader on what we are saying. Having an outline helps us to jot down our ideas. And finally, editing our writing allows us to prevent silly mistakes like grammar and spelling. It's important to read our writing from a reader's perspective and not an author's. C.S. Lewis states, "You can create anything by writing." When we write, we preserve our memories and ideas. What we wrote a few years ago becomes a memory when we read it again. Ideas we have today become startups tomorrow only if we're willing to write them down. I would like to end with a quote by Anne Frank. "I can shake off everything as I write. My sorrows disappear and my courage is reborn." Stephen R. Covey said, "Most people don't listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply." We all want to talk more about what we think and listen less to what others think. Just changing that phrase to listen more about what others think and talk less about what we think can drastically improve relationships. Listening to someone talk, even if it doesn't pique our interest, makes people want to talk to us because we made them feel valued. Dale Carnegie said, "The highest compliment we can pay someone is listening." Listening is hard work, but it has a lot of benefits. We get to learn new things, connect with people, and broaden our perspective. We broaden our perspective by talking with people whom we agree with and disagree with. We think we are fantastic listeners, but we fail to connect. Why? In a book I was reading, the author talked about 3 types of listening: internal listening, focused listening, and global listening. Internal listeners listen just to see how it affects them. They check for how it affects their feelings and their emotions. Focused listeners are amazing friends to talk to. Focused listeners understand each other by body language. Having a focused listener as a good friend is a great gift. However, being a global listener is what we should strive for. Global listeners go beyond speaker and listener. They look for action, inaction, and interaction. Global listeners know how their actions and behaviors affect the other person, and they can change accordingly. I would like to end with a quote by Winston Churchill. "Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen." Speaking and listening are integral parts of the communication skill. Napoleon Hill stated, "Think twice before you speak." Your words and influence will plant the seed of either success or failure in the mind of another. It's important to speak, but we must learn to say the right thing at the right time. Linda Lambert said, "One good conversation can shift the direction of change forever." What can we do in order to become an effective speaker? Stop using filler words, ask questions, know your goal, and don't repeat yourself. Using filler words like show that we're not confident about what we're speaking. We have no clue how to proceed with the conversation and we're uninterested. Asking questions allows us to keep the conversation moving and learn more about the other person. This could lead to better connection. Having a goal makes the conversation worthwhile. Goalless conversations end up with unnecessary and unwanted disagreements, which could destroy relationships. If we follow these steps, we will automatically stop repeating ourselves over and over and over again. Let's use these 4 steps to become an effective speaker. Zig Ziglar stated, "You never know when a moment and a few sincere words can have an impact on a life." Let's use our words to impact lives. Jim Rohn recognized effective communication is 20% what you know and 80% how you feel about what you know. Communication is an essential part of life. Speaking the silent language is crucial. So, how should we speak the silent language? Fun fact, when we speak, people mostly understand us through our body language and not words. The most common types of the body languages are pace, pitch, tone, hand gestures, facial expression, and posture. Balancing our pace, pitch, and tone will help us to connect emotionally with the person we're speaking to. A fast pace, high pitch, and a happy tone communicates that a person is gleeful. The same person would use their hands frequently to communicate joy. Their eyes would sparkle and mouth gleaming with a smile. Their posture would be upright. Peter Drucker stated, "Effective communication is hearing what isn't said." Speaking the silent language will enable us to become a better communicator. I would like to end this part with a quote by Tony Robbins. "The way we communicate with others and ourselves will ultimately decide the quality of our lives."